Picture a factory. It's been running nonstop for 40 years. No breaks. No weekends. No maintenance crew ever clocking in. The conveyor belts keep moving, the machines keep churning, and slowly, quietly, dust starts settling in the corners. Gears begin to grind. Waste piles up in places no one can see. And one day, without warning, something critical breaks down. Now look in the mirror. That factory? That's your body on the modern diet. You probably clicked this video because you want to lose some weight. Maybe you're tired of feeling sluggish, or you just want to fit into those jeans collecting dust in your closet. And that's completely fine. But I'm going to let you in on something. Weight loss is the least interesting thing that's about to happen to you. See, every time you eat, you're sending a signal to your cells. That signal says one thing: grow, build, expand. And in a world where we're eating breakfast, snacking at 10, lunching at noon, snacking at 3, having dinner at 6, and maybe grabbing something sweet before bed, that signal never stops. Your cells are stuck in a perpetual state of construction mode. They're building, 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 but they never get the chance to do something absolutely critical. They never get to repair. Scientists call this constitutive growth. It sounds technical, but it's devastatingly simple. When your body is constantly digesting food, constantly responding to insulin, constantly shuttling nutrients into cells, it doesn't have the bandwidth to clean up the mess. And trust me, there's a mess. Damaged proteins pile up. Cellular waste accumulates. Mitochondria, those tiny power plants inside your cells, start sputtering and misfiring. This isn't aging. This is biological neglect. Here's what nobody tells you: aging isn't some inevitable slide into frailty. It's not written in stone. It's a biological error, and it's one we can correct. We're not just talking about looking better in a swimsuit. We're talking about reprogramming the clock that's ticking inside every single one of your cells right now. But here's the kicker. To flip this switch, to actually trigger your body's repair systems, you have to push past a very specific biological barrier. And most people quit right before the magic happens. They feel the discomfort, they think something's wrong, and they bail. Right there, right at the edge of transformation. So here's exactly what occurs in that critical window, and why everything you think you know about hunger is about to change. So you decide to stop eating for 16, 18, maybe 24 hours. At first, your body doesn't thank you. It panics. You feel it almost immediately. That dull throb behind your eyes. The irritability that makes you snap at people you love. The gnawing sensation in your stomach that feels less like hunger and more like an emergency alarm going off. And somewhere in your head, a voice starts screaming, "What are you doing? Eat something. Now." It feels like your body is screaming at you, doesn't it? Like you're doing something dangerous, something wrong. But here's what's actually happening. Your body isn't angry. It's just confused. For your entire life, you've been running on one fuel source: glucose. Simple, easy, instant energy. It's like driving a car that's only ever used premium gas from the station 2 blocks away. Convenient. Reliable. But then one day, you cut off that supply, and suddenly the engine doesn't know what to do. It sputters. It protests. This is what scientists call metabolic inflexibility, and it's the reason those first few days feel like absolute hell. Think of it this way. You've got two places where your body stores energy. There's the refrigerator and there's the deep freezer in the basement. Glucose, the sugar floating around in your bloodstream and stored as glycogen in your liver, that's the fridge. It's right there in the kitchen. Easy access. You're hungry, you open the door, you grab something. But your body fat? That's the deep freezer. It's packed with enough energy to keep you alive for weeks, maybe months, but it's downstairs, in the basement, behind a locked door. And your body has forgotten where you put the key. The headache you're feeling? That foggy, irritable sensation? That's not starvation. That's just the friction of your body remembering how to walk down the stairs. Here's where the science gets beautiful. Around 12 to 18 hours without food, something shifts. Your liver runs out of glycogen. That fridge in the kitchen? It's officially empty. And when that happens, your insulin levels, the hormone that's been keeping that basement door locked, drop like a stone. Suddenly, your body remembers. It finds the key. The door swings open, and for the first time in years, maybe decades, it starts pulling energy from your fat stores. But it's not just using fat. It's converting it into something your brain can actually run on, ketones. These are clean-burning molecules that your brain absolutely loves. And the moment they start flowing, something remarkable happens. The fog lifts. The hunger pangs quiet down. Your energy doesn't just return. It surges. This isn't some weird biohack. This is evolution. For hundreds of thousands of years, humans didn't eat 3 meals a day. They went days without food, and when they did, they didn't curl up in a cave and wait to die. They got sharper, faster, more focused. They went into hunt mode. Your body is designed for this. It's just been so long since you've asked it to flip that switch, it forgot how. But once that backup generator kicks in, something incredible happens. Your body realizes it has some free time. And the first thing it does? It calls in the cleaning crew. This is where everything changes. This is the moment most people never hear about because they quit too soon, right before their body unlocks something that won a Nobel Prize in 2016. It's called autophagy. Now, I know that sounds like something out of a science fiction movie, but stay with me. Autophagy literally means self-eating, and before you recoil, understand this, it's the most elegant recycling program your body has ever run. Here's what's happening right now, inside your cells, when you fast long enough. Your cells start scanning themselves. They're looking for anything that's broken, outdated, or just not working right anymore. Misfolded proteins that are gumming up the machinery. Old, damaged mitochondria that are producing more toxic waste than energy. Bits of cellular debris that have been piling up for months, maybe years. And then, like a highly trained demolition crew, your cells dismantle all of it. They break it down into raw materials and build something new. Something fresh. Something that actually works. Imagine a night crew coming into a busy office building. They can't do their job when people are there, right? They can't fix the flickering lights, take out the trash, or scrub the floors when the hallways are packed with meetings and phone calls. They need the building empty. That's what eating does. Every time you eat, your cells are busy. They're processing nutrients, responding to insulin, managing energy storage. The cleaning crew can't come in. Autophagy only works when the building is empty. And this is where fasting becomes something far more profound than a diet trend. This is hormesis. It's the same principle as lifting weights. When you lift something heavy, you're tearing your muscle fibers. That sounds bad, right? But those tiny tears are exactly what force your muscles to rebuild stronger. Fasting works the same way. The mild stress of not eating tells your cells, toughen up. Get efficient. We need to survive. And your body responds by becoming more resilient, more adaptive, more alive. Quick question, and be honest in the comments, what's the longest you've ever gone without food? Was it by choice, or did you just sleep through breakfast and forget to eat lunch? Let me know down below, because I'm genuinely curious how many of you have actually experienced this shift. Here's what researchers are finding, and it's staggering. People who practice long-term intermittent fasting don't just have cleaner cells. They have biologically younger cells. When scientists look at markers of cellular age, things like telomere length and mitochondrial function, fasters consistently show profiles that look years, sometimes decades, younger than people who eat all day long. It's not cosmetic. It's not about looking good in photos. It's about the fundamental machinery of your body running cleaner, smoother, and longer. You're not just losing weight. You're hitting the reset button on aging itself. Now, you might think, great, my cells are clean. But I don't want to look like a skeleton. This brings us to the biggest fear people have about fasting, and why it's completely wrong. Let's talk about the fear that stops more people than anything else. You've heard it. Maybe you've even said it yourself, if I don't eat, my body will eat my muscles, right? I'm going to waste away. No. Hard no. And here's why that fear is built on a fundamental misunderstanding of how your body actually works. Think about this logically for a second. Imagine you're a caveman. You haven't eaten in 2 days. There's no McDonald's around the corner. No grocery store. You need to hunt, track, and kill something if you want to survive. Now, would evolution, the ruthless optimizer that's been fine-tuning humans for millions of years, make you weaker in that moment? Would it break down your muscles, the very tools you need to catch food, right when you need them most? That would be insane. That would be suicide. No. What evolution does is pump you full of human growth hormone and adrenaline. It makes you sharper, faster, and stronger. And that's exactly what the science shows. When you fast, HGH levels spike dramatically. We're talking increases of 300%, 500%, even higher in some studies. Your body isn't cannibalizing muscle. It's protecting it. Because it knows you might need it to survive. Here's the key: fasting is actually muscle sparing, especially if you're doing any kind of resistance training. Your body prioritizes burning fat because fat is the expendable fuel source. It's the storage unit. Muscle is functional tissue. It's infrastructure. Your body doesn't tear down the infrastructure unless it absolutely has to, and if you're fasting for 16, 20, even 24 hours, you're nowhere near that point. But let's go beyond the body for a second. Let's talk about what's happening upstairs, in your brain, because this might be the most underrated benefit of all. There's a protein called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Scientists call it Miracle-Grow for your brain, and fasting floods your system with it. BDNF doesn't just protect your existing neurons. It stimulates the growth of new ones. It strengthens the connections between them. It's literally making your brain more resilient, more plastic, more capable of learning and adapting. This is why people report that insane mental clarity when they're fasting. It's not in their heads. It's neurochemistry. You know that feeling when you've just eaten a big meal and all you want to do is collapse on the couch? That brain fog, that sluggishness? That's your body diverting resources to digestion. But when you're fasting, when your gut is quiet, your brain gets first-class access to everything. Blood flow, oxygen, ketones. You become sharper, more focused, more present. It's not a stimulant high. It's your brain running on premium fuel for the first time in years. And then there's inflammation. Chronic, low-grade inflammation is the silent killer behind almost every modern disease. Heart disease, diabetes, Alzheimer's, autoimmune conditions. And where does a lot of that inflammation start? Your gut. When you're constantly eating, your digestive system never gets a break. It's always processing, always responding, always inflamed. But when you fast, when you give that system time to rest and heal, systemic inflammation plummets. People report joint pain disappearing, skin clearing up. That puffy, bloated look that adds years to your face just vanishes. Now, I need to be honest with you about something. Fasting isn't magic. It's not a get-out-of-jail-free card for a terrible diet. If you fast for 20 hours and then break it with pizza, soda, and a pint of ice cream, you're undoing the work. Fasting is a tool. It's a powerful tool, maybe one of the most powerful tools we have for health and longevity. But it only works if you respect the process. It amplifies good habits. It doesn't erase bad ones. So we've got cleaner cells, a sharper brain, and protected muscle. But if we zoom out, if we look at the big picture, what does this actually look like 10, 20, or 30 years from now? Let's shift the conversation. Stop thinking about the next 30 days and start thinking about the next 30 years. There are two words you need to understand: lifespan and healthspan. Lifespan is how long you're alive. Healthspan is how long you're actually living. And for most people, there's a brutal gap between the two. The average person spends the last 15 years of their life managing decline. Medications for blood pressure. Insulin for diabetes. Pills for cholesterol, for inflammation, for pain. They're not living. They're just not dead yet. They're sitting in doctors' offices, shuffling through pharmacies, watching their independence slip away one prescription at a time. That's not aging gracefully. That's aging in slow motion. But here's what long-term fasting does. It compresses that window. It takes those 15 years of decline and shrinks them down to maybe 2, maybe 3. You're not just adding years to your life. You're adding life to your years. You're talking about being 75 and hiking mountains, not 75 and struggling to climb stairs. 85 and still sharp, still mobile, still engaged with the world, not sitting in a chair wondering where the last decade went. This is what the research on caloric restriction and fasting keeps showing us. Animals that eat less live longer. But more importantly, they live better. Their joints don't break down. Their brains don't deteriorate. They don't spend half their lifespan in frailty. And we're starting to see the same patterns in humans. People who practice intermittent fasting long-term show lower rates of cardiovascular disease, better insulin sensitivity, reduced cancer risk, and preserved cognitive function well into old age. Think about the world we live in. We're drowning in food. It's everywhere. It's cheap. It's engineered to be addictive. We're told to eat breakfast to jumpstart our metabolism. Snack to keep our energy up. Eat 6 small meals a day. Never let yourself get hungry. And where has that gotten us? Obesity rates through the roof. Diabetes an epidemic. People in their 40s looking and feeling like they're 60. The ultimate superpower in the 21st century isn't consumption. It's discipline. It's the ability to look at abundance and say, not yet. It's the ability to sit with discomfort for a few hours and know that on the other side of that discomfort is clarity, health, and longevity. Fasting isn't about starving yourself. It's about starving the things that are killing you. The inflammation. The insulin resistance. The cellular junk that's been piling up since you were 20. You're not depriving your body. You're giving it exactly what it's been begging for: time. Time to repair. Time to rebuild. Time to remember what it's capable of. So if you're ready to take control of your biological clock, you need to start today. Not next Monday. Not after the holidays. Today. Hit that like button if you're ready to stop just aging and start evolving. Subscribe so you don't miss the next deep dive, because we're just getting started. Now, knowing when to eat is half the battle. But knowing what to eat when you break your fast? That's just as critical. If you mess that up, if you spike your insulin and flood your system with the wrong foods, you can ruin all the benefits you just earned. You need to watch this video right here on the perfect meal to break a fast to complete the puzzle. Everything you just learned only works if you nail that next step. I'll see you there. There's a lot of health advice online, very little of it is science. If this added value, like the video, comment what you learned, and subscribe for evidence-based content.